Valor Morghulis, everybody. The Hype Watch is back again for another episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. This one, Episode 2, Stormborn. And as you can see, we have a special guest with us tonight. It's the man who I affectionately refer to as the Larry King of the whole Game of Thrones community. The guy has interviews upon interviews upon interviews with some of the best. It is Jon from AU Pack Mule. Talk to the people, Jon.
Hey, I'm straight out of Westeros. Well, just glad to be here, Don Willie. Thanks for inviting me. Always good to hang with Jerry and anybody's from the Hypes Watch. You're all guys are super cool, and this is a great episode to talk about. So I'm ready.
Definitely, definitely. Also, we got the ladies' man himself, Sir LT Giles. Talk to the people, LT.
Okay, so I just want to say I'm grateful to be here with the Heights Watch, and I'm grateful to have AU Pac Mail. But AU Pac Mail, I do not think this episode is great by one bit. I'm sorry, bro, but I know.
Wow. Surprising. And we have our resident show realist, I call him the show hater, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat.
Yeah, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat here, and realist is the real term. And Pac Mule, I don't know if you could say I'm so cool. I think this episode teaches us. It's going to teach us what exactly it is to look so cool. Get it going.
Oh man, okay. And shout out to everybody in the chat with us. Hopefully we are streaming well right now. And I'm checking out the chat. Hopefully you guys are loving the layout that we've done here. Trying to bring you something special. All right, so the episode starts off on Dragonstone with a strategy session, and this is a pretty interesting scene. And I think Stormborn, is correct because we start off with a storm, and the funny thing here is we have Daenerys who finally gets to confront Varys about him trying to have her killed, serving the Mad King, but then going on to serve Robert Baratheon, and yeah, this was actually a little tense. So you know what, Jon, I want to start you off with this one. What did you feel about the opening of this episode?
Yeah, it's appropriately named, like you said, and I think the interrogation was appropriate as well. Also, if you think about it, Varys was in a no-win situation. He served both her father in a bad ruling situation, and then turned around and worked for Robert as well. So it was a very tough situation for him to be in. But I think just like Varys always does, he handled it well, and he slid like a fish right out of there.
Sorry. True indeed. LT, your thoughts on the opening of this episode?
Yeah, I thought Varys was done for. I thought Daenerys was going to get rid of him, but he kept to his guns and he told the truth and he got out of it, and he slid it out of it like the mermaid he is.
Jerry?
I've always been really critical about what they've done with Varys on the show, because, he really didn't make... I mean, I think we're all confident that he's a fucking Blackfire, at least in the books. And we can say and when you put that into context there, everything he's done makes sense. Whereas in the show, you take that out, it makes no fucking sense what this man is doing. So they did their best to kind of retcon here and try and, at least they acknowledge some of the old things. Like I didn't expect that. I expected them just to forget about that. Hope the viewers forgot about that. But they actually did try to explain like what was Varys thinking this whole time, and they did about. I mean, if you're gonna try and fix it, I mean, I don't think it's really gonna be fixed, but they did about as well of a job, I think, as you can do here in fixing it. The way he's a champion of the people. He's the Rock. He's got the people's mouth, I guess, and I mean. only thing that really didn't make sense was that, like he's talking about for the people, but I mean, if you know your history, he didn't do anything to get Aerys like taken out. He tried to actually keep him in rule. He advised him against opening the gates and whatnot. So you kind of have to forget your history on this, but overall, it's better than they usually do.
True, true indeed. I mean, like, there were some small issues, and look, I brought this up years ago about Varys actually going through with the order to have Daenerys assassinated. So to have this brought around, and it's kind of like they kind of gave a weak explanation as to why he actually went through it. It was just like, I did what I had to do, So yeah, I mean, look, but at this particular point in the game, it's a little late to kind of judge it now, only because we don't really have the Blackfire alternative, so we kind of have to accept Varys's explanation at face value, although the explanation is a little weak sauce. I will admit that. But moving right along, directly after this, we get Melisandre, who shows up and talks about how Daenerys has a part to play, and then they get into the whole High Valyrian prince and princess being gender neutral. And the funny thing about that is because Daenerys is fluent in High Valyrian, but it was Missandei who had to actually explain to her that there was a gender neutrality when it comes to prince and princess. So I found that to be kind of interesting. LT, what did you think about just this whole interaction with Melisandre and Daenerys? Because it was a little crazy that as soon as Daenerys brought as soon as Melisandre brought up her name, automatically Varys looked up and was like, "Oh, I know who you are." Whoa. So yeah, LT, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this scene was just showing that, Daenerys and Jon are the very important players, to the end game, basically, because she said, you're important, but also another one. So we know she was talking about Jon.
Jerry says she's talking about Jon.
Yeah, Jerry?
Yeah, so this scene here, actually, that's kind of a mistake that they made, and I'm surprised that they made it, considering the guy that they hired to do the Valyrian language has gone on the record of saying that that's not the case, that there is genders in the Valyrian tongue. And it's actually dragon that's genderless, and that's what Aemon, in the books, Aemon's like, he somehow, in the prophecy, it must mention something about a dragon in Valyrian, and that's how he gets to it, because he's like, dragons are, the prince is going to be a dragon prince, so dragons are neutral, or gender neutral, so it could be either or. So that's why here I'm surprised that they fucked this up, considering they're the ones who hired the guy that has gone on to say the Valonqar is not genderless, this prince thing is not genderless. It's dragons and that's because dragons don't have a gender.
Right,
so,
and yeah, that was something. Because I remember watching a video about that today where they talk specifically about that. But I mean, you got to figure for the average show fan who A, doesn't read the books, and B, isn't going to go out and try to learn Valyrian in their spare time like it's Klingon or something. For them, they're going to be able to accept that that explanation, and it's not going to be such a big deal to them. But John, I
agree, but it's just weird to me because they're the ones who hired the guy. So
I get it. But yeah,
that's why it's weird to me. As far as the advice that they were giving Daenerys this whole time, I'm like thinking, what the hell is she? Again, we got to forget her history. They're like telling her to be Aegon the Conqueror, and she's like, no, I can't do that. People will not love that. Like, we saw it work before. It only what? It lasted for 300 years before it crumbled, or no, what 270? What 275? 280 years before it crumbled. I don't get her point.
All right. Well, either way,
gotta forget her histories here.
All right. Well, let's get John's thoughts on this one.
Thanks, Don Willie. So basically, the scene with Melisandre was pretty epic because I never expected her to be in Dragonstone that quick. I thought for sure. I think LT passed out.
That was weird. All right, continue.
Makes for great television. So, I thought it was great that she was there already. I thought for sure that we would see her, at the end with the crossroads with Arya, or meet up with the Brotherhood somewhere in between Dragonstone and Winterfell when she was exiled last year. So, definitely, I was really happy with that. The explanation of I love LT, man. Anyways, so as far as the explanation of the gender, I think she wants to believe that she could be the princess that was promised, but Melisandre knows that it's supposed to be Jon, and I think that was the point she was making. You and another. That was it.
Seems very plausible. Now, I want to go around the horn real quick. Hold on, Jerry.
Okay, go for it.
Hold on, real quick. I want to go around the horn, and I want to ask everyone what they felt about Tyrion sticking up for Jon, and Daenerys still kind of being like, "Yeah, fuck the dumb shit. Send him a raven and tell him come bend the knee." Because I thought that was very interesting that Tyrion is vouching for Jon and saying, "Look, if Jon is king in the North, there's a pretty good reason why he is, and I think we need to hear him out." And Danny's just kind of like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Tell him to come bend the knee." So, John, I want to get your thoughts on this one first, and then Jerry, and we'll go. No, John, LT, and then Jerry, you can finish up with whatever thought you had.
Okay.
So I think it's very important, and I think Danny knows that it's important that she brings in as many allies as possible, and the fact that Tyrion is there, she wants him to be there when they meet, so they can get as much information back and forth, and confirm their, mutual interest. And I think that was basically it.
LT?
Yeah, Daenerys wants to say, "Oh, bend the knee." You know what? But Jon's not going to bend the knee. He's going to come in there and he's going to tell her that White Walkers are the real threat, and the dumb bitch is going to listen, and she's going to get it straight, and Jon's going to come in and tell her that he's the king of the North, and she needs to bend the knee to him.
He's watching a different show than I am.
Okay, Jerry.
Sorry, Jerry.
Jerry, you're right.
I mean, I'm a little surprised that she didn't raise an eyebrow when they said King of the North. Like, oh, King? Well, we'll see about that. So that was a little surprising. And what I also wanted to mention was that, before that, everything Tyrion said really didn't bother me. That seemed to line in character. He liked Jon. He got along with Jon. Jon's head now, so that wasn't that surprising. What was kind of surprising to me is that no one really asked Melisandre, "Why were you with Stannis?" No one. And, yes and no. Like, maybe because they didn't want to say, "Oh, well, Stannis, he looked the part. I thought he was the prince that was." Maybe they didn't want to give him that credit. But, that's also an opportunity to shit all over Stannis. And, they love taking a dump all over his face every chance they get. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Good point.
I mean, listen, they took a very minor jab at Stannis. It wasn't a huge jab, but I know you and also JB are not fans of them taking any stabs at Stannis whatsoever. Look, I don't know why Dan and Dave hate Stannis so much. I don't, but it is what it is. You know, they're doing what they're doing right now when it comes to it. But let's move along to Jon and Sansa in Winterfell. So uh, this was a relatively short scene, but it was just kind of showing how the dynamics are still kind of going between them because yeah, it seems like no matter what Jon does, Sansa just kind of wants to argue with him about it and tell him, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. But at some point, like, look, he's the fucking king. You can't argue with him about every single small detail. But you know, LT, your thoughts on Jon and Sansa, the first go round with them.
I'm like all like over the place right now because I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of faded right now, but I'll tell you right now, since and I might be skipping ahead, but you could um, get on me
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
kind of
But
far ahead where she speaks out against him. Are we
No, but
skipping to that part?
no. I'm
no,
talking about
I'm talking about when John said he was leaving and he left Sansa in charge. That got Sansa's pussy wet.
That's way ahead.
Okay, I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying that
this
got
mother.
Sansa's pussy
Oh
wet. She was
God,
happy to rule the North.
really, dog? All right, this motherfucker right here, Jerry.
I mean, are we talking about? I was just going to talk about their conversation.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Oh,
I was talking about the conversation.
I thought it was weird that they didn't mention that technically, Sansa and Tyrion are still married. It's they didn't. There's no bringing up of that. Like, hey, your husband sent me this. What should we do? But other than that, it sounded right. Tyrion threw a line in there. He would remember.
Right, but
Apologize. That's how much I hate this episode that I didn't remember that. I'm sorry.
all right, LT, easy. All right, let Jerry finish real quick, man.
I mean, that's really. I mean, it was fine. I thought it was done pretty well. They didn't screw. Other than forgetting that Tyrion and Sansa are married, that's the only thing.
I mean, but she did kind of not like before, not before, but like during this, she kind of was like, all right, well, you know, you can't really go to Dragonstone. You shouldn't accept this. And this even before he brought it up to the Northern Lord. She was just kind of like, all right, yeah, well, you got a Raven, but this shouldn't really mean shit to you. But John, your thoughts on this particular scene?
I just loved it, to be honest with you. I thought it was fantastic. Anything in Winterfell when they're getting nitty and gritty and Lyanna gets to talk, and it's just a great scene. It shows a lot of conflict, which is needed to carry on, and I just loved it.
I was gonna get to that one a little bit later. Well, but since we're already there now, what did you guys feel about John trying to explain himself to the other lords in the north of why he had to go, and them kind of almost shouting him down and telling him that he was fucking up by actually trying to go there because again I think he made a very valid point that if Daenerys is a queen, I can't send an emissary to tell her, "Hey, look, we need your dragon glass, and we need you to ally with us for in order for us to defeat the White Walkers." Like he said, he's the only one who actually saw the Night King's army out of everyone who was there. Because I'm guessing that Tormund already left to go to Eastwatch by the Sea, because we didn't see him in the scene at all.
I mean,
Yeah, Jerry, go ahead.
I mean, I thought it was. I mean, Sansa again. She's being freaking Sunny and Fredo all in one. So I mean, she didn't need Ned as her father. She needed Vito Corleone as her father. That's who she needed. But as far as the John thing, I thought he made a very reasonable point. The rebuttal that they gave him was reasonable, and the rebuttal to that he gave was reasonable. So you actually got a little bit of sense going on here for once in this show, and it was fine. It was good. Other than Santa going Sonny Fredo.
All right, AU, you got any more thoughts?
No, I just hope that we get to move on with the storyline. That's all. I think
And
those scenes are important, but the rest of it's even more important.
and LT, you already said you hate this part, so we're gonna move right along to King's Landing. So we've got Cersei talking to lords of the Reach, and it might be some other lords from other regions. It seemed like it was only lords of the Reach, and she tells them about Daenerys coming supposedly. Whoa, okay, not sure what that was. Supposedly she's got 3 dragons on the way with her, and now they're she's trying to rally these particular lords to her side. And I am sorry, I'm not sure where in the world this static is coming from, right? Alright. Anyway, so she talks about, the dragons. Randall Tarley actually brings up the fact that Daenerys has dragons the same way that Aegon the Conqueror did, and he's like, "Hey, well, how are you going to stop the dragons?" And Qyburn actually says, "Oh, I think we might have something." Um, so, so all right, LT, did you at least like this scene? Because like you're being super Debbie Downer right now. I mean, you're killing my
All right,
vibe.
so I did. No, I'm sorry, Willie, you're gonna get mad at me. I don't like how fucking Randall Charlie sits there and procrastinates like he doesn't want to join Daenerys. He will join Daenerys, and we know that shit. And he's sitting there taking his time, and then Jamie has to go and talk to him and tell him, whatever. And it's like it kind of annoys me that they're taking it. Dude, we only have we only have 5 episodes left, and he's gonna take his time to join fucking Cersei? No, come on, this is garbage, Willie. I'm sorry.
Okay, Jerry.
I mean, I thought Cersei. I mean, her spin was stupid, but it was at least a passable stupid. That were like, if you want to believe that, you will believe that. So it's something that you can buy into. It's not exactly accurate, but something you can buy into. So I thought she did well enough there. I don't know if we're getting it. We'll get to the solution about the dragons. Oh no, is that the same scene? But the most important thing I took from this scene was the Tarly turn. I mean, he hasn't quite turned yet, but I mean, I've been thinking that Tarly is the friend. Like, for one, I've been thinking that Aegon is going to sit the throne in the books, and Cersei's taking his spot right now. And so the Tarly turn makes me think that that Tarly is the friend of the Reach. So that's one thing I like here. And what the hell happened to Dickon? The guy got like a foot taller and like hit the gym. What's going on here? He don't even need the Valyrian sword anymore. He just uses fist.
The actor that plays Dickon is from the show. Fuck, I'm sorry. My mind is blank. The pirate show that's on Stars.
Black Sails.
Yes, he's from that show, and I recognized him.
And as far as the Qyburn thing, yeah, I mean that's true. You hit a dragon in the eye and it kills him. That's why I always thought the dragons were kind of vulnerable against the Dothraki because they could ride around and shoot arrows at their eye from horseback. So,
Oh yeah.
Did you like the Rickon comment?
Oh yeah, it was like Rickon or Dickon or whatever.
No. Although I do wonder how they're gonna hit that giant arrow. That thing is slow as fuck. How are they gonna hit a dragon with that? I think you need something a lot faster.
I mean, well, you're kind of skipping ahead of where we're going, and I wanted to get.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I didn't know we were going into that scene yet.
Yeah.
Isn't that in the? I don't even remember.
That was after this scene, I think, or the scene after.
Oh, my bad.
Listen, I got the notes here, so let the moderator moderate. All right, John, your thoughts.
So Cersei really did a great job. I think she really needed to unify everybody, especially after the Euron scene, realizing, we've got a lot of problems, and Jaime's, right there telling her the same thing as well. So I think they're in big trouble. I think they're going to continue being in big trouble, and this is just a setup.
I don't know that they're gonna continue to be in big trouble. Whoa, what the hell just happened there? I don't know that they're gonna continue to be in big trouble, but hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get something a good battle out of that one. But the next scene after that actually was Sam finally meeting Jorah at the Citadel face to face. It was interesting that Sam did not know who he was, but also very interesting was the fact that the grayscale was super advanced. But they also said it's going to be years before he actually dies from it, and about 6 months before he goes blind. So Jerry, your thoughts on Sam meeting Jorah at the Citadel and the whole explanation about what will happen to him when it comes to grayscale?
I mean, if that's the case, why was he acting like a crazy man in the last episode? He's just like, ah! I'm like, no, calm down, bro. We figured his mind might be gone, but no, he's just acting crazy.
Was he acting crazy?
He was. He's like,
he was grabbing the ball,
touching things, grabbing stuff. He's like, tell me if it's the dragon woman here. Yeah,
I don't know if that's necessarily crazy though. Look,
he was kind of crazy.
Well, no. Hold on. Think about it like this though, for a sec, Jerry. Because remember, she told him to go get a cure. He went to the one place, thinking that the one place that he knows of that he might be able to get a cure. And I'm pretty sure he's already heard that she's on her way to Westeros. So he's like, look, okay, is she here yet? Because
but he didn't say it like that. He's great. He's out and he's like, is she here? Is she here? Like, calm down, bro.
Well, yeah, exactly. Listen, he doesn't know how much longer he has left. Shit. He's like, okay, look, she told me to cure myself, but damn it, I at least want to say goodbye to her before I fucking turn into before they toss me out of here and I probably fall into the sea and die.
That doesn't mean he can't ask in a calm manner. I mean, it might have cost him one more minute. Anyways,
maybe he was in pain.
I guess maybe he was in pain. They fucked up again here when they had Sam say that Shireen got her grayscale cured, which is not accurate. She had it paused. And I know this might drive our friend Quinn from Ideas in Ice and Fire crazy as he was arguing with some people, commenters about this. And, well, Game of Thrones just fucked him. So, sorry, Quinn.
Yeah. All right. LT?
I thought they should have spent a max of 2 minutes on this scene. It's like we know Jorah's gonna be cured. It's like, why sit there and waste so much time on it? You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. It's like we know he's gonna be cured, so whatever.
Okay. AU?
Yeah, I thought it was a good setup. The fact that Sam wants to try because of his dad, that sort of thing. But I go along a little bit with LT. It could have that particular scene could have been shorter so that we could have had more other stuff at the end.
Okay, understandable. So next scene we got is Cersei and Qyburn in the crypts under the Red Keep, where they're going through all of the different dragon skulls, and we get Qyburn's super weapon. Now, I actually made a video on this a couple of months back. My prediction was that he was going to make some sort of gunpowder weapon or possibly a wildfire weapon. But, I guess this is as good as he's going to get until he discovers gunpowder, because if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Qyburn. So, Jerry, I know you already kind of gave your thoughts on the whole thing with the ballista and all that.
Mm-hmm. Or let me just finish real quick. Like I said, that ballista, it's a bit. I don't know how that's gonna hit a dragon. It moves too slow. I think it would have been better, maybe to take those dragon bones and make some, high impact arrows and high impact bows with them. That would have been a lot more effective. But whatever.
I mean, true indeed. Listen, like I said, I personally would have loved it if it would have been a gun or a cannon of some sort. You know, fight fire with fire, not fire with arrows. But AU, your thoughts on Kai Burns' ballista?
Yeah, I think the weirwood bow that Bloodraven used with it, the shafts. I think that's the concept that they were trying to accomplish, because that's from the Children of the Forest, and I think that's really what's going to be the downfall of any dragon in the book. But I love the scene with in the underground where the skulls were, where Arya hid. Um, that just seeing the skulls would probably be pretty epic if it was still in the throne room.
I actually love that we got to see the skull of Balerion the Black Dread. So this way we know exactly how big that dragon was. I wish we would have actually seen one of them standing next to it though. So this way we could see the scale, like how big he
Perspective.
actually grew. Yeah, because we hear that he was a massive dragon, but how big he actually was, especially in comparison to Daenerys' dragons right now. I know like it looked like he was bigger. He had a lot more horns protruding from his head. But I would love to see just how big he was stand. You know, like with one of them standing next to him. All right,
I
so
mean, judging from the head, it looked like if you just take like a like the radius of like do a circle on their head and take the radius and compare it to the dragon, I would say it looked like about a 60% increase, maybe something like that, which would be is massively much bigger.
all right, and LT, tell us how much you hated this.
Long may she reign! Long may she reign! I did not hate this scene. I thought the scene was awesome. I see that Queen Cersei has a chance here, and that maybe she could possibly take out a dragon. Actually, the opposite, Willie. I love this scene, and I thought that this shows that Cersei actually has a chance.
I mean, listen, you've been telling how much you hate the damn episode for everything else,
No,
so
I know, but I love this scene, and I thought that this means Cersei has a chance.
okay, all right, cool. All right, so our next scene we get is Dragonstone Strategy Session Part 2, and this time we have the Ironborn, the Dornish, and the Tyrells. And this was a pretty interesting scene because, you know, there were many people who weren't sure whether or not Tyrion was going to bring up the fact that he knows about the Sand Snakes poisoning Myrcella and whether or not he was going to be able to put that aside in order to still work with them. And also, you know, Daenerys giving her strategy about, okay, look, we're not going to have a foreign army invade the capital. We're going to have the local armies invade the capital, and then the foreign army is going to take over at Casterly Rock. So, LT, I want to bring it back around to you. Your thoughts on the strategy session here?
Tyrion was speaking the truth. It was messed up that they took out Marcella. Um, and they were just basically saying what they need to do, take out King's Landing now. But obviously we see the strategy that they picked. So I thought it was okay saying.
Jerry?
I mean, I already alluded to it earlier, where you gotta really forget your history on this, where she's arguing against something that worked in the past. So it really made no sense what Danny was talking about. And as far as the Tyrion, he seems a little way too accepting about them killing her niece. They're like, well, she's a Lannister. Well, so is Tyrion. He's right there. Like, I don't. If it was me, those all of them would be dead. Like,
but Jerry, Daenerys came to his defense when they were saying that.
Okay, but she's still dead, and they haven't punished for her. She didn't come to his defense that much. So, I'm just saying, if it was me, they'd be dead. And if Daenerys wasn't on board with that, well, I'll kill her too. I don't care. I mean, I have two nieces, so I mean, that I can't believe he's taking it that easily. That's just crazy. And then Daenerys is like, "Oh, I got to do it all peacefully, so no one will die." Well, then she's talking about a siege on King's Landing when they're already kind of short on food, and winter is coming, so that's pretty much just as bad. He's going to kill just as many people from starvation.
I mean, listen, I understand. You know, and like again, this was one of those things where, look, they're in the middle of a war, and Tyrion is trying to think about what is the best way to win the war. And unfortunately, the in order to facilitate that happening, he had to put his personal vengeance aside to make this whole thing work. I'm not saying that it should be easy for him. I don't think that it was easy for him, but I think that he realized in order for it to work, this is what he needed to do. But let's move along to AU. I want to get your thoughts on the strategy session here.
Say I disagree.
No, I think Tyrion did a great job in regards to trying to set up a plan, and he also sacrificed his own vengeance, towards the Sand Snakes to get anything. He could have just caused a big problem right there and then, and just like what happened with Varys, he was able to suck it up and move forward. And I think it was important to think about the greater plan for Daenerys.
Now, all right. Also, thoughts anyone on Olena's strategy of basically being Aegon the Conqueror Part 2? If anyone's got any thoughts,
I do got some thoughts on that, actually. Isn't that what the whole fucking point of Marine was? Why do we waste all that time, Marine?
No, the whole point of Marine was to free the slaves and to get rid of the masters.
Figure out that she doesn't know what she's doing. That her way of ruling by like kindness and stuff doesn't work. She has to embrace her Targaryen stuff in Marine.
Except for the fact that the people that she's going to kill already want her to be queen.
Who wants her to be queen? Wait, who is she going to kill? She's going to kill Cersei.
That's what I'm saying. She's going to kill everybody in King's Landing. Nobody wants Cersei in King's Landing.
I don't think King's Landing cares as long as they get their food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not getting their food.
I mean, well, you got to think about it like this. How does she wind up taking over King's Landing without burning it down? I mean, if she's going to go Aegon the Conqueror on this whole thing, remember, Aegon had two other people to control the other two dragons. As soon as he yells Dracarys and Drogon starts firing, Viserion and Rhaegal are going to start firing too, and it's going to be kind of indiscriminate because, even though Tyrion talks about how smart the dragons are supposed to be, the dragons, A, have never been in Westeros before, and B, none of these people that are in King's Landing are going to be fighting on Daenerys' side. So
simple solution. One, you just leave the other two behind. You don't need 3 dragons to take King's Landing. You just need one. Drogon is good enough. Just don't get hit by that slow-ass ballistic.
Okay.
I think she's doing the right thing, though, with asking whoever's the leaders to come to her and discuss how she's going to take over. Because once they see the dragons, they're not gonna fight her.
Okay.
What Jerry just said, 3 dragons or whatever. But I honestly think by the Cersei scene with Qyburn that one of those dragons will be taken out by that device.
It's kind of.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Now, whether it's gonna happen this year or not, totally different question. That we'll get to that some other time. But let's move along to the next scene, which is Grey Worm and Missandei with possibly the most awkward love scene I have ever seen in my life. I'm glad that we did not get a full frontal shot of Grey Worm, because if they would have had to do some CGI or something like that, it may have been absolutely traumatizing. But
He just
apparently,
tucked it like he's.
Come on, you've seen a GI Joe before.
but apparently the Lord's kiss has also been taught in Westeros.
Part of
Oh
the
yeah, that's so
training.
sorry. Yeah. So, ladies, man, LT, what did you think about Missandei and
Oh,
Grey
but
Worm?
Sandy, that ass, those titties, it was amazing, and I just love to see it. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Jerry.
She looked even fucking better than her last scene where she exposed herself. She was so. This is the greatest scene in the history of television. She looked just so absolutely gorgeous and perfect that, they could have shown whatever with Grey Worm. I'm not even paying attention to that. Don't matter. And it was a long one, too. So, and it still wasn't enough. That's all I got to say about that.
AU.
Well, I hate to say this, but I fast forwarded through that whole thing. I just didn't need to see it. It just wasn't. It was a pointless part of the story.
Yo, chill,
I mean,
man.
it was
No.
pointless as far as story-wise go, but it was like the Mona Lisa.
Listen, Natalie
Yeah,
Emmanuel.
we already know what Missandei looks like. We already know, they love each other. Move on.
Natalie Emmanuel is beautiful from head to toe. Absolutely beautiful. I will be rewatching the episode after this is over.
You got a recording on HD, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh man, yeah. All right. So my question, my next question pertaining to this one, do we think Grey Worm is dying this season, since they gave him this
Farewell.
yeah.
What a farewell they gave him.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so yeah, I think we're all in agreement that Grey Worm is posed to die this season. He got his sex scene, if you want to call it that. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, we'll say goodbye to Grey Worm right now. All right, so moving on to the next scene. So we got Sam, who goes to Jorah. He tells him, who he is, and he attempts to cure his grayscale based on a book that he read. Now, obviously, well, not obviously, but apparently, this is not one of the books that he absconded with from, the Maesters only section of the library. But the thing that I was wondering, because we've been hearing for the past week about Dragonglass being a cure-all, and I didn't see any Dragonglass used in this, unless it was in one of those powders or the ointment that he said he was going to put on. But the funny thing about it is, when Ebros was telling them, like, yeah, do you know what happened to the Maester who did all these experiments? He died from grayscale. So, pretty interesting there. Jerry, you are the science man. I want to get your thoughts on Sam's method of trying to cure Jorah Mormont of his grayscale.
I mean, okay. So, first, I guess there's two cures for it, because that wasn't. I mean, you know how we opened the book and he said grayscale was a cure in that book. That was one of the forbidden books. We know that. So there was another book that had a different cure, I guess. I mean, at first when I was watching it, I was like, wait a minute, he just told the Maester he read the forbidden book. And then the Maester said it's forbidden. So...
No. He said that particular treatment is forbidden. He didn't say that book was forbidden, though.
Well,
I don't think that Sam... I don't think that Sam is that stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think he is, because he was already told this in season 3 and he forgot. Or season 5 and he forgot.
Well, no, he
So
wasn't told about the cure. He was just told about
no,
the
he's talking
mountain of
about
dragon.
dragon glass in season 5, and so he is prone to being stupid like that. So, but as far as just ripping it off and then put what did he do? Put a shot in there, like Pulp Fiction, like
No, it was
adrenaline?
no. I mean, it looks like he may have made an ointment with ground up dragon glass, possibly.
Um,
We'll have to see later. I mean, hopefully,
we need more explanation on this. Like, I
yeah.
am completely fucking confused. Like, does it come from I don't even fucking know.
I don't know, but
it just looked gross. And again with the fucking gross cut. I don't know what is with this making nasty stuff look like food, but first it's the shit, now it's the pus.
I mean, listen, the Citadel is a place of nasty wonders, apparently. All right, so John, your thoughts on Sam treating Jorah's grayscale?
I think it just goes to his attitude of valiant effort. I've got to make an effort. Gior was a one, his favorite leader. He wanted to do honor to him by taking care of his son. It was that simple. And he's going to try. He's going to try whether it cost him, the being booted out of the Citadel. It's just an effort he's going to make. And like a lot of things Sam does, it's not pretty, but it works.
True indeed. Damn, that must have been super painful though. Like, he's literally skinning Jorah, and then having to put on that ointment. Wow.
I'm surprised it hurt at all. To be honest with you, because it's supposed to be, a rock, right?
Yeah, but remember, he said he had to take off not only the rock portion, but like the layer of skin that holds it to his body. So, all right. So,
Tommy boy, that's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah.
Tinker just joined us. Everybody say hi to Tinker.
Oh, Tinker's in the chat. Okay. Wow, you are up super early.
I love you, Tinker.
Oh man.
Calm down, LT.
All right, man. Yeah, LT. So your thoughts on Sam trying to treat Jorah's grayscale?
My thoughts are, why are we even seeing a long scene? Because we know Jorah's gonna get cured. And then why isn't Sam telling Jorah that he needs to join the Night's Watch? Because that was fucking Jorah's last. I mean, I'm sorry, the old bear's last words to him. Why doesn't he tell him that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, maybe he'll tell him that later. I mean, like right now, I think the thing that he's thinking about is we need to get this grayscale thing taken care of. And plus, like he said, your father died. Like I watched your father die. I'm not gonna allow you to die too. So
you know what? I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna step up and agree with LT here. That he should have, before he cured him, he should have said, "I'll cure you, but in exchange, you have to do your dad's wishes."
You guys think that little potion that he had is the cure? Because I mean, we know that Sam knows that Valyrian still cures grayscale. So do you guys think that little potion that he had in there is it?
Valyrian steel or dragon glass?
Dragon glass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I think it was probably, crushed up dragon glass with, like maybe some other stuff because like you said in the book, it did have an actual cure to grayscale, but it was forbidden because the guy who found the cure died from grayscale. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if he's doing this whole curing thing, and while he's doing, he accidentally sticks that dragon glass too deep and it gets into their heart. Does Jorah become the next Night King?
Yeah, he's able to control whites after that one. That would be interesting. Yeah, you got the soul.
Sam's like, oh no, I fucked up.
Stone King, Salt King, White
King,
Night King, yeah, all of that stuff. All we
know is that this means that Jorah is going to be healed. He's probably gonna come back and make a triumphant return, and Tinker Jasso's going to be like, oh, I love Jorah so much.
Oh boy.
Jorah
No. Listen, Devin. Listen, we do not want her to start ranting on us right now, so we are going to move along. Move along. All right, so next we get a nice little reunion. You know, I know how much Jerry hates fan service, but fuck that. We got to see Hot Pie. God damn it. You know, yeah, at the end at the crossroads or the tankard and or whatever inn he's been at ever since season 3, or was it season 2? I don't know. The point is, we get Hot Pie back. Hot Pie, you know, is looking a little bit more like he's been eating more of those hot pies. But apparently he's, you know, doing even better cooking now. He's made sure that you gotta put the butter in to the crust before you bake it, and you know that's how you get it light and flaky.
That's a secret.
Yeah. So the thing that kind of struck me about this particular scene though was the fact that Arya came off as so damn cold. It was like, I'm just here to get some food, and then I'm off to King's Landing and kill the queen. I really could give two fucks about what you're talking about right now, Hot Pie. Thank you for the goddamn food.
Give me that ale.
Yeah. So, John, your thoughts on this particular reunion?
Yeah, we all had a feeling that there was going to be something keeping her from going to King's Landing, and I'm glad it was Hot Pie that gave her the news about Jon and at being at Winterfell. I thought it was epic. Nice bit of fan service for me. Didn't have any problem with it at all. I did want to ask though, in regards to the maester that wrote the book on the cure, if I could go back for just a second. His name was Pylos, and I know that name. I just can't recall. Does anybody know where that came from?
I believe it's probably mentioned in one of the books. Like, I recognize the name too, Archmaester Pylos.
Right.
It's probably mentioned in one of the books. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to check a little later,
Anyway,
but
I thought maybe somebody would know.
yeah, I mean, that sounds like a name from the books. LT, I know you're big on reunions.
Yeah. Pylos is the one who takes over Dragonstone. So obviously he's gone from the books because no one's a dragon.
Oh, right. That's a different Pylos. Different Pylos.
When I first read Clash of Kings and the Storm of Swords, I would say that, you know, these are the adventures of Arya and Hot Pie and, you know, the few that Lami, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it was great. I was so happy to see Hot Pie. So this was definitely one of the pluses of this episode, to see Hot Pie. And this is one of the scenes that LT was happy with, definitely.
Okay. All right, Jerry, tell us how much you hated it.
Hot Pie is back, and that means the episode is a 10! A 10! We get the return of Hot Pie! Hot Pie for president! Hot Pie, girls, you don't even think about, you know, New Dickon or Rowan fuck his name. Genry, or, you know, y'all should be looking at Hot Pie. He came back hotter and more full of pie than ever before. So, as far as that goes, though, I'm like, Arya, is she really that fucking stupid that she didn't look for any news at all? That she's just been walking around thinking like nothing has changed, she couldn't, like, even on the docks of Bravos, they probably might have heard something. By the time she got to the docks, I guess where would she have gone? She probably came to what's Manderley's docks, White Harbor docks, thinking, because she came from Bravos, so she probably would have gone there. You don't think the people there would be talking about Jon, King of the North?
Or Salt Pans.
I mean, well, no. Remember though, when she had gotten to Westeros, Jon wasn't King of the North yet.
Right.
So when she first got there, he still wasn't King in the North just yet. So he became king while she was traveling.
Episode, right?
No. Like, oh yes. Same episode, but later in the episode. So we'll just say that she's been at the Twins for all that time, and then after that, she immediately got on the road to King's Landing, and probably hasn't even really seen any Northerners.
So she got to the Twins in a matter of seconds from White Harbor. Okay. All right.
Whatever, Jerry. Oh man. Okay. And LT, yeah, you already talked about the adventures of Arya and Hot Pie. So we're gonna talk about another reunion with Arya, and that is Arya and Nymeria. And this was actually very sad because we did get to see Nymeria's pack. It wasn't the 100 Wolf super pack.
Hold on. We're not going to talk about that little scene in the crypts. Didn't that happen before?
Yeah, but listen, we'll get to that. That'll be before the finale. We'll get to that one right before the finale. So I thought that this was a very sad scene because, you know, obviously Nymeria kind of recognized Arya, and you could see the longing in Arya's face, like, please, because that almost seemed like it was her last shred of like normal fucking humanity. And when Nymeria left, you just saw like she just went absolutely stone faced, and I was like, fuck, okay, Arya's gone. Like that was it. Like, forget about any kind of forget any about any kind of carrying Arya. That was absolutely it. Jerry, I want to get your thoughts on what I thought was the most sad reunion ever in this show.
You know, at first when this was happening, I was like, you know, this is a bunch of fucking fan service. This is nonsense. I was just rolling my eyes, just, you know, saying that. And then Nymeria left. I'm like, oh, I guess they only had so much budget for fan service. And then I started, you know, really thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I think this actually might happen in the books. I think this is going to happen. And I think the reason it's going to happen is because of what Arya is becoming in the books. She is becoming less Stark, if that makes sense. I think eventually she's just going to Nymeria is going to turn her back because Arya is going to be so far gone and like so far on this path of revenge and Stark-like that's why it's going to break. She's not the same Arya. She's no longer Arya. She no longer is truly Arya Stark, so that's why Nymeria will no longer be with her.
All right, John, your thoughts on this one?
So LT had a video where he talked about the prediction of the Lannisters doing something with Arya and Nymeria attacking them to save them. And I still have a feeling that that's going to happen. And I think that's why they set it up this way, so that she would be able to warg into Nymeria and call her just like Dany did with Drogon. And I think that's one of the reasons why they set it up the way they did. I didn't think this was a bad thing that they did. I thought the fact that they gave us regular wolves and a dire wolf, I mean, that alone is a plus for me. So not disappointing at all. It was sad, but it wasn't disappointing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't disappointed by it, but I was just kind of like, oh, god damn it. And especially, like I said, when I saw Arya's face, when I saw, like, you know, the hope leave her face, I was just like, oh, damn, Arya is gone. Forget it. Like, now she's no one. But, LT, your thoughts on the Nymeria and Arya reunion?
Well, I'll tell you right now, if Pac-Man's right, if that happens, I'll change my opinion. But as far as now, I'm fucking disgusted by this scene. I think it's fucking bullshit. And that fucking, if that's Nymeria and she just walks away from Arya, right now I'm fucking heated. This is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in this show. And I'll tell you right now, if Pac-Man is right, I'll change my mind and I'll say, okay, you know, If Pac Mill's right, I'll change my mind. But as far as now, I'm disgusted. I turn my phone is really hot right now, so I turned my camera off. But I turned my camera on just for this scene because I hated it. And like I said, if Pac Mill's right, I'll change my mind about the scene. But if he's not right, then this scene was fucking disgusting.
Let me just clarify that it doesn't really make too much sense in the book because she doesn't really become no one. She goes back to being Arya in the show. In this show, but I think in the books she's going to continue. Like even though she's warging her, she's eventually going to move further away from her, and she's going to eventually become a faceless man truly in the books. Whereas in the show, they're having their cake and they're eating it too. So that's why it's a bit confusing here. That's why I get my point of view from that. Carry on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. All right. So
I can just tell you one thing: that Tinker is completely wrong in what she's thinking about. That she's not looking into that this is probably going to a scene that's going to happen in the books, and the reason doesn't make sense because the show's not explaining it right.
All right. Well, listen. You know,
because of the warging or lack of.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole thing where she's like, "I'm Arya Stark after all." Like I don't think that's going to be like that in the book. I think they kind of just gave up.
Don't you think show watchers would understand better, knowing that she's in proximity, and it would make more sense that she would be able to warg into Nymeria?
I don't think I think they know show watchers don't really care about sense, so that's why they do some of the things that they do.
Gotcha. Sense is not an issue.
I mean, listen, we'll see.
They have
what
been
happens.
bothering Jerry of House Sense for ages, and yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's not get too off into the woods with this right now. All right, so we got 2 more scenes left, and the first one I want to get to is Jon and Littlefinger in the crypts of Winterfell. So Jon, after coming off of his chastisement, by the lords of the north, for him saying that he was gonna ride south and leaving Arya in charge, Littlefinger goes and I'm not even sure what to say about this because I know Book Littlefinger would never do anything that is this overt,
right?
And Jon, I'll be honest with you. Jon seemed like he kind of overreacted a little bit, because the funny thing is when Littlefinger said, "Hey, so Jon says to him, I don't have anything to say to you," and Littlefinger's like, "Not even thank you, like you would have died on the battlefield if it wasn't for me coming with the Vale army," and Jon seemed really pissed off by that. Now, honestly speaking, they haven't really set up as to why Jon would be so have so much animosity towards Littlefinger, unless it's strictly about you saved Sansa and then you gave her to the Boltons, which they haven't really established as a key point of contention between the two. He's never said anything before about that, so his anger towards Littlefinger seemed like it was kind of like it came out of nowhere. So I was a little confused by why he was so pissed off by that. And apparently everyone else that's been speculating as to why Jon was choking Littlefinger, everyone got the speculation wrong, because a lot of people were saying that he was gonna say something about Ned. He might have been, disparaging about Ned, or that he was gonna say that Ned isn't his true father, or that he was gonna, spill the beans about Arya. I mean, not Arya, Lyanna and Rhaegar, and none of that happened. It was just touch my sister and I'll kill you. And it was just okay, don't know where that came from, but it is what it is. So Jon, your thoughts on Jon trying to intimidating the shit out of Littlefinger?
How does Littlefinger not have PTSD? That's what I want to know. The guy got cut from belly to throat from Brandon. Ned choked him out at his own brothel. Now Little John does that. It's just crazy how this guy's not crawled up in a corner somewhere. Um, I don't get how he's able to maintain his composure, but kudos for him trying. I just don't think he's fooling anybody, and I don't know why he's even there. To be honest with you, he's. I think this is the one time he's getting played, and I don't think I've ever seen that in the books or since he was little.
Yeah, listen, I'll be honest with you. This is not the Baelish I know. Hashtag not
Right.
my Baelish. You know, yeah, I couldn't see Littlefinger, going out and antagonizing anyone in this particular fashion. But again, like I said, I think John seemed like he overreacted a bit. I wasn't sure where that particular reaction came from. But LT, your thoughts on the John Littlefinger scene?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get the whole reveal about his parents. So yeah, definitely John was overacting a little bit, and the scene was a trick to us because that's what we thought we were gonna get. A lot of people did. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed with the scene.
All right, Jerry, your thoughts, and then after that, I've got a question to all of you guys.
Well, first let's start off with Littlefinger. I mean, like I've said, they do not know how to write intelligent characters in this show, and they just really dumbed down Littlefinger in this whole just running his mouth all the time. Knowledge is power. He's always just getting in people's face, saying shit he wouldn't say ever in the books. That's all I got to say about that. And well, that part about Littlefinger. Now, John, this is the most ungrateful little bastard that I've ever seen in my life. This motherfucker is like he would be like if England or Britain was like, yeah, I don't really care about fuck you. After World War II, they were like, you know what, go fuck yourself, Russia and U.S., fuck y'all. I don't really need y'all. So he's just fucking ungrateful that, Littlefinger came and saved his ass that he was getting his ass kicked prior to that. And, we all know that Littlefinger is a true hero of the North, And, one, he's just being fucking stupid by thinking of making war with the Vale by saying, I'm going to kill Littlefinger. Like, if he killed Littlefinger, what are you going to do, make war with the Vale? So now you got to fight the Vale and all the others? Fucking idiot. What the hell's your problem? What he should be thinking about, really, is not about not touching Sansa. He should think about who needs to be touching Sansa and making a fucking alliance with them through a marriage with Sansa, in order to gain more allies. Whether it be, to strengthen the allies with the Vale by either marrying her to either Littlefinger or Sweet Robin, I mean, no matter who, or getting another ally. I don't know. I haven't thought of who, but marrying her to someone for allies. I mean, that's a chip you got there, and he's not playing it. He's too busy choking people out, saying, "Don't touch her." Idiot. Fucking idiot.
Listen,
Idiot.
And you know what?
He is so stupid.
What up? And what did Sansa just tell him last episode? Be smarter than Ned. Be smarter than Rob. That means
he's dumber.
Yeah, you don't go choking out people who saved your fucking life.
Yeah.
All right, so
Maybe he could. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
no, go ahead, and then after that, I got a question for you guys. So yeah, go ahead, Jerry. I mean, LT. I mean, sorry.
Nah, what I was gonna say is nonsense. Go ahead, Willie.
All right, so the question for you, since everyone speculated about John learning his true parentage here and not believing it, and then getting pissed off at Littlefinger, is John going to learn his true parentage this season at all? anyone.
First of all, I think this episode was freaking garbage, and I'm pissed and I'm disappointed. And I think the way they're going at this route, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I hope we find out soon because they're like really fucking doing bullshit with this like garbage episode. I'm sorry. I'm very disappointed, and I don't know. I'm hoping we find out in the next few episodes because this is fucking bullshit.
Oh, wait a minute. I have one more thing to say about the whole. How did Littlefinger find the crypts? Those things are kind of hard to find.
No, he's been there with Sansa before. Remember?
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Diana's statue.
6.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right.
Plus, it's guarded by 2 stone direwolves with, well, it used to be, anyways.
Anyway, so probably episode 7. Sounds like a good episode. That's probably when Bran's finally going to meet him, and he's going to be like, "You are a Targaryen." Blah, blah, blah. I don't know how it's going to go. This can go down something like that, and Jon's going to be like, "Oh my god." Probably whine, act stupid.
I think it'll be at a Bran scene though. I don't think it'll be with Littlefinger because he'll be at Winterfell before too long.
I think the odds of Jon finding his parentage is the same as them talking about the red wine fleet is in the show.
Which is kind of weird considering Olenna's a red wine, but
right.
Whatever.
Listen, apparently the Reach is like 3 houses deep. Dorne has 1 house. Let's see here.
The Water Gardens.
Yeah, we got 1 house in Dorne. I think they may have mentioned. Let's see, because you got the Tarleys, you got the Tyrells.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't even think they've mentioned another house from the Reach at all. So the Reach is only 2 houses deep. Oh man, yeah, the Westeros is getting smaller and smaller by the minute. But all right, so let's move on to our last scene, and as you can see, I put on my Thor kind of Viking-esque hat for this one because we're gonna talk about the man who brings the storm. Euron Greyjoy, your man, King Guyliner. Last week he was looking like he was auditioning for the Village People, and this week he looked like he was auditioning to slaughter the Village People.
Him and Alice Cooper are going on tour.
Yeah, this is.
I'm glad you said Alice Cooper.
John.
Hey, I got something to say about that.
Oh man, so. All right, so we start off the scene with Arya Sand and Yara, Yasha, Asha, whatever the hell her name.
Yarsha.
Yeah.
Yarsha.
Whatever her name is, supposedly they're having their little makeout scene there, and in comes Euron with the silence. And look, listen, man. I don't care what anybody says. That scene with him with the damn silence coming through the mist, that was a badass scene. God damn it, Jerry, you I don't want to hear shit about how that shit wasn't hot. That shit was fucking hot, man. So Euron comes through. He puts the I'm not even sure what the hell they call that thing that that clamps on from one ship to the next. Comes down and just starts chopping shit down left and right. He kills 2 sand snakes, fucking impales one, chokes the other one to death with her own whip, beats the shit out of Yara, and holds her hostage, and Theon turns back into Reek. So now he's got 3 hostages, apparently. We got Arya Sand, Tyene Sand, and Yara, all 3 hostages. We got a lot of people slaughtered from Daenerys' fleet, from the Iron Fleet or whatever that was supposed to be going to pick up the Dornish. So now the Dornish are stuck in Dorne because those ships just got decimated. All right, so LT, I want to get your thoughts on supervillain Euron coming through to ruin the day.
Okay, so Euron was a little badass in this scene, but I'll tell you what, Theon was a little fucking bitch coward when fucking Euron had his sister. Oh, I gotta jump little fucking coward, man. And you know what? This scene wasn't half as I thought it was. I sat there and got excited about a sea battle. This scene was garbage, man. I'm telling you, this scene was garbage. And yeah, I'll give it to you, Willie. Euron was a little bit badass in this scene, but this was not the badass sea battle I was looking for. And I'm sorry, man, but that's my opinion.
Hey, listen, you are entitled to your opinion. All opinions are valid, even Jerry's. So go ahead.
Especially Jerry's. Oh, you want me to go? Okay, so, for a battle between 1,000 ships versus 1,000 ships, you would think that would take quite a while, but this was over in a few seconds, a few minutes. You think that would be like a giant epic battle, but no, apparently we have just Euron coming off, jumping around, acting crazy, doing the whole tongue thing like he's fucking he's kind of like I haven't seen a guy try to look that flamboyant fighting in a fantasy / sci-fi since they had Sting in the movie Dune where he played Frey, or what's his name? Faye. He looked like he was trying to try out for a rock concert instead of like a battle. He's coming out on stage. He's like, I'm like, what the? Like, and that might be badass if it was anyone but the joke that's been like, you can't just turn it on. Like, here's the thing. If you're gonna do that with the character, it has to be a character that you built up with to pull that off. Otherwise, it just kind of looks like a joke, and that's what it looked like here. Like, it could have been an awesome scene, but I can't take that Euron seriously based on the joke he's been previously. You have to build up your character properly to be able to pull that off, right? And, even before that, the Sand Snakes were looking even stupider than before. They somehow got worse. So it's a good thing 2 of them are dead, although, sad to see Lady Nim looking all nice and fine and going away. But, she'll be back in, Iron Fist 2. So...
Listen, man. Listen, he came with 1,000 ships and 2 good hands, and both of those hands were wrapped around an axe, and they were being buried into people's heads.
Oh yeah, so basically, Euron is more Victarion than really Euron. I mean, that's who he tried to act like. And what the hell, is he immortal? He must have got like pierced about 100 times, and he just didn't go down.
I was going to ask, was that really him? Or was that just other sailors?
No, that was him.
Yeah, because when he was fighting against the Sand Snakes, let's see, I think he got he
got it in the crotch and the knee and in the gut.
Well, no, because I know he got whipped by Nymeria a couple of times, and maybe that's what we were thinking were stabs. Because I know she hit him a few times with the whip. And I do think that he got stabbed in the side, though, by Obara. Right before he took the spear and stabbed her. What he should have done,
every time he got hit, he should have just started going like Hulk Hogan, like, just doing the thing and just going like this, and just started like going all over like Hulk Hogan would do. You'd hit him and he wouldn't get phased, or you hit the Undertaker, nothing would get phased. Yeah, that's basically what Euron was here. He was just like he was a cartoon character here.
He's a cartoon character in the books, though, man.
No, he's not. He is not a cartoon character in the book. He's
really?
A very well-read, menacing villain, whereas here he's just...
I think that word you just said was perfect, menacing. He's much more menacing in the books. He's definitely...
calculating.
Much more benign in this show.
I mean, well, I think that's because...
Yeah, all of a sudden here, he's John Cena. And his name is Euron!
I mean, look, I think that's only because, for one, yes, they're moving through super quickly with the plot. But then, 2, like, we haven't seen him do, like, in the Forsaken chapter, where he has somebody for months on end torturing the shit out of him.
Yeah,
and
I don't
we're
know what
not.
cartoons you've been watching. I haven't seen that in cartoons.
Yeah, okay, well, look, the point that I'm trying to make is in the books, Euron is over the top, super flamboyant, and yeah, they mixed in some Victorian with Euron for the show. Personally, I think for this particular scene, for me, it worked. All right, was it
I
the
mean, okay,
greatest of all time?
there's
No,
different
but
types of flamboyance though.
mm,
Like this, he came out. The flamboyant he was using is definitely not the same flam. Like he's got like a different vibe of flamboyant that fits his
Mhm.
character. And here he came out like a freaking showman. Like like if he was like a WWE wrestler slash or a rock star or something like that, which Cole totally didn't fit in what they're trying to accomplish and what they've shown us before. None of it made sense. It's just poorly done. It's like fucking, I don't know. Did Vince Russo write this? I don't know. Maybe.
oh man. All right, so look, I want to get AU's thoughts on this one before we go to scores. Uh, yeah, so John, your thoughts on King Guyliner himself?
If you took Euron out of this episode, I think you would have liked it a lot more. But because he did what he did, I think it really diminished the scene. The fact that his men were just kicking butt, I thought was pretty epic. As far as water
Dagmere back.
scenes, what's that?
I said Dagmere came back.
Cleft jaw. So yeah, I really liked it, except for the fact that Euron. I mean, he should have done something more menacing. I think is the word, especially when he had Yarsha at the end.
I mean, the fact that he got his nephew basically to turn back to Reek. That was
Well, you
that
saw
was.
him be Reek earlier in that scene where he's pouring wine.
I
He
mean,
wouldn't have done that.
I don't know that it was necessarily that he was Reek, but it's kind of like
He
Yara.
was
Yara's been fucking with him ever since last season. When she took him to the brothel in Volantis, you know, like I'm like, God damn, man, like could you torture a man more? And this was just another one of those things where it's just kind of like, all right, well, it is what it is. So
guys are talking about sex here. Hello. Did you see that
The
look on his
Euron thing, I
face?
thought that's the only thing that made sense was him turning back to Reek. That's exactly what I would expect in this situation, especially with, his name is Euron! Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun,
oh
dun.
man. All right, well, look, like I said, I thought it was a pretty interesting scene. Was it a little over the top? Yes. Was it the sea battle that we were expecting or hoping for?
No.
No, but I think what it was supposed to do was just set up that look, Euron had a take no prisoners attitude except for the prisoners that he needed in order to marry the most beautiful woman in the world. So I think that that's what it was supposed to do, and if that was the thing it was supposed to do, I think it did that well. But
And you know what? I just want to add one more thing, actually,
all right.
to make on my point. Bringing it back to wrestling. There's a reason they got a new guy as a champ. His name is Jinder Mahal, and he was a jobber for like ever, and they just randomly made him champion, and everyone is rejecting it. No one likes it. They're like, this guy was a joke. That's exactly what they did here. And if your writing is on par with WWE these days, you fucked up. That's all I gotta say.
All right. So look, we're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna give scores and uh. All right, LT, we're gonna get you out of the way. Please try to keep your rant to a minimum. Is LT even still here? I, I think he's kind of like, man, fuck this episode, fuck a score. Oh man, all right, so I think it looks like we lost LT. Damn it, man. Hopefully that does not.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
I was walking out the house and I forgot my Wi-Fi disconnected, so it disconnected me off the call. I apologize.
That's right. Now we want to get your score real quick before we wrap up. Please try not to rant forever about how much you hated the episode, though. All right, keep the rant to a minimum.
All right, I'll just be simple with it. I give this episode a 4 out of 10. Like Jerry always said, I mean, this episode did not bring what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a lot of action. I thought the Arya thing with Nymeria was disgusting. If Pac Mill's right and that is Nymeria, and we see that she saves her, I'll change a little bit. I thought the fucking sea battle was disgusting. I thought it wasn't as epic as I was hoping for. So yeah, 4 out of 10. But my highlight of this day is Pac Mill being here.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we love having Pac Mule on. Pac Mule is the greatest. All right, you know what? We're gonna take it out to Jerry. Your score for this one, probably even lower than last week.
I mean, I actually thought there was a lot more sense in this week's episode than there was in last week. Last week wasn't making anything. Like I had to go a little bit deeper. I mean, the Huron thing was kind of stupid at the end. The fucking cartoon show. But, at least that's something. Last week didn't really give us anything. So, I'll give this episode maybe a 6. How about a 6? 6 on right?
Okay,
yeah, let's give it a 6. Man, a 5.5. How about that? We'll go with 5.5.
This episode is good when Jerry gives it a 6 and LT only gives it a 4.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Interesting. All right. So, AU, your score on this one.
I'm going to feel really bad because last week I gave it a 7. This one I gave it more of an 8.5. So I really did not have the problems with it that you guys did. I don't have the rant. I realize it's a TV show, so maybe that's my problem. If I were to do it, I don't know that I could do it much better. So that's why I gave it 8.5.
All right, don't do it, Jerry. Don't do it.
All right,
no, I know what you're about to do. Don't do it.
He used to like me. I'll never be invited again.
Oh no, man! Listen, we love having you. We love having you on, and I'm pretty sure all of us cannot wait to be on your channel again as well. Oh,
you know what?
LT, please.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna give it a 6 because you know what? Because of the Nymeria thing, I think that's what happens in the books, and I think it explains what I think is gonna happen. How about that? And the Tarly thing, I think that's gonna happen in the clues for the books. I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So
I had myself. I know the wind got me, but no, Pac-Mill, you're a friend of the watch. You'll definitely be invited back.
Thanks.
Yeah, we do not abandon our friends. Okay. So all right. So we got a 4 from LT. We got a 6 from Jerry, which I'm damn near shocked about, and we got an 8.5 from Pac Mule, and me for my final score for this one before we wrap up. No, in fact, no. 8.5 from Pac Mule, not an 8. 8.5. For this one, I am actually going to give this one an 8 as well. For me, 8 for me. I thought that this was better than last week's episode. I think a lot of the shots got tightened up. The editing was tightened up. And like I said, I had a couple of issues with some of the motivations of characters, especially, like I said, the Littlefinger and Jon scene, and also Daenerys automatically telling Jon that he needs to come and bend the knee. But other than that, I think they did a great job with laying out everything for the rest of the episodes going forward. We can see kind of what direction they're trying to take with it. Jerry disagrees, but goddamn it, you always disagree about everything, man. So, all right,
I keep it real and I keep things straight.
Man, listen, I would love to hear what I'd love to see scores in the chat room real quick while we're about to sign off.
Tinker Jasso.
Yeah, check that out.
She's getting it a 2 out of 10.
God damn it! Wow. Tinker.
Somebody has some fucking sense. I'm the only one who's being real, and Tinker's agreeing with me. That's why I love you, Tinker.
You know what? Hold on. Let me tell you why you and Tinker wrong.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You're the only one that's being real about it, LT. What do you? Listen, first off, you know how much I hate people who dick ride the show. So don't ever try to throw me in the dick riding category, LT. Don't you ever.
I'm not saying you're dick right now. I'm just saying this episode was garbage,
That's to
and they need
you
to fix
though.
some shit.
That's to
They need to
you
fix some
though,
shit.
man.
They do. They gotta fix some shit. They need to. If Pac-Mil's right about this Nymeria thing, I'll change my rating. I promise.
But the Nymeria thing like that is happening in the book, so you're hating on some George R. Martin stuff. That's why you and Tink are wrong.
All right, well, let's see. What we got here? We got from Don the Kraken Wit, who I wish could have joined us.
Speaking of dick writers, let's bring up Don the Kraken Wit here.
Whoa! Wow! No, come on, man. Nah, come on, man. Let's nah. We're not going. Yeah, well, listen. I'm about to get to the goddamn score if you let me. So look, Kraken gave it a 9.5. We got Violent Messiah 666 who gave it a 5. We got Sam R09 who gave it a 7. Let's see. Any other scores before? I mean, like, cause come on, man. Look, I say people who just give shit 10s just to give shit 10s are the fucking dick riders. I think that everyone look. LT gave an episode last year a 10 just because it had Beric Dondarrion, and most people hated that fucking episode. All right, so you got
like pussy episode.
Yeah, so you got to give people some leeway. You can't just automatically say just because you didn't like the episode that whoever gave the episode.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying my opinion, and you guys could love this episode all you want, but I hate it.
I'm not saying that your opinion is wrong. I'm saying Jerry calling people dick riders just because they like the episode more than you do is wrong. And let's see what other scores we got. Hold on. Let's see what other scores we got.
He's a different type. He's more of the Greyjoy.
All right. Well, we got a 7.5 from Ricky Hunt. We got a 7 from Morgan Baker. We got a 7 out of Joe Swag. We got a 7 out of Aaron. Hold on. Let me see if I can make sure to get the last name. Aaron Cerebur. Let's see here. Sorry, no. Joe Swag gave it a. Yeah, did I say 6.5? No, 7. Now he says 7 needs work. Tinker says she needs to get some sleep. It is what it is. Look, like I said, I like the episode better than last week's. Good night to Tinker, or good morning now. She's just going to sleep, man. Look, man. You know what? Maybe there was something. Maybe there'll be something that'll blow us all away. Even though I doubt it, I don't know, man. Like, there's very few episodes that we agree on in terms of scores, etc., etc. Let's see. Oh, Plexi gave it an 8. Yeah, I mean, look, pretty. We got some kind of mixed reviews on this one. A few people hate the episode. Some of us really like it. Some of us are kind of in between. It is what it is. But let's, get to signing off because we've actually gone a little bit longer
let's just say
than
if you're a
expected.
Greyjoy fanboy, you'd love it.
That's
what I was trying to refer to earlier.
Okay. Well, we will.
Much better
than
Dick Rider.
Yeah, we will accept that one. All right. All right.
Same
so
diff. It's just
whatever. Hey, anyway. Oh, and way off topic radio. Way off topic radio.
9.
My man Frank gave it a 9 out of 10. Wow, I'm actually shocked, Frank. We're gonna have to talk about that one right there. We're gonna have to talk about that. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do sign-offs because we actually stayed a little longer than expected. But we love talking to all you people in the chat, and we love having these discussions.
Mark is right.
Jerry's gonna change his rating.
Oh my god! All right.
That scene was a fucking 11.
Oh my god! All right, so AU, where can people find you, and what are you up to? Let's
So I'm at AU Pack Mule. My channel basically does live streams mostly with other YouTubers talking about Game of Thrones, Westworld. Do some movie reviews. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for allowing me to be here. But make sure you guys give this a thumbs up if you like it. I think you did a great job, Don Welly, with the presentation. Really like the way it's set up. So thanks
Thank you.
for inviting me, and thanks for the great panel.
So very glad to have you on, and so very glad that this finally fucking worked.
That's good.
LT, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, my review's already out. You guys can call me a hater if you want, but I do love this show. I wouldn't be on here. We wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't for the show. I wouldn't know Willie or Jerry or the Heights Watch or Tony. So I do love this show, and I'm just hoping that the following weeks are better. Maybe in my second watch it will be better, but as of now, I'm very disappointed.
Okay, it's all good. And yeah, you can find LT at Sir LT Giles. Link is in the description, and I also have to put the link for AU in the description as soon as we're off the air. Jerry, tell the people where they can find you, good sir.
Yeah, you can find me on the Hypes Watch, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat, and man, did Missandei look perfect. Man!
True indeed. True indeed. True indeed. Yeah, and listen, you guys already know you can find me. I'm Don Willie. You can find me at a Don of Ice and Fire. I will have my episode review up later on tomorrow, and I'm doing all my other normal stuff. Will it happen in the books? Live stream, blah 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 blah. All right, so make sure follow everybody.
One plug I want to put in. If you missed yesterday, we had a stream here on the Hypes Watch where we talked about death and resurrection. It did unfortunately get cut short a little bit due to weather, but it was a damn good stream about getting getting kind of a little deep in those topics. I mean, everyone here made some great points. You want to see? I think it was me, Quinn from Mondays That's Fire, Don Willie, and Kraken, and everyone brought their A game that day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Make sure to leave a like on this video, and subscribe to everyone whose links will be down in the description below. I got to make sure to add on AUs before we are done tonight. And yeah, look, man, that has been our time. We will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that other good stuff. This is The Watch, and we are saying Vala Dohyrus.
And his name is Euron Crowseye. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.